Buy my bike, sir. Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days. The bikers learned who took everything from her rain poured down on the dusty road as a small boy, barely 8, stood shivering beside an old bicycle. His clothes were torn, his hands trembling, but his eyes, they carried a strength far beyond his age. Sir, please, buy my bike, he whispered to a group of bikers stopping at a roadside diner. Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days. The toughest biker of them all, a bearded man named Blaze, froze. His gloved hand stopped midair, his voice caught in his throat. None of his tattoos or scars could hide the sting in his chest as he looked down at the boy. What kind of world makes a child beg to sell his only joy, just to feed his mother? Blaze didn't know that this boy's words would uncover a secret, one that would break his heart, ignite his rage, and change the lives of everyone who stood there that rainy afternoon. The sound of roaring engines filled the lonely highway. The biker group known as the Iron Hawks had stopped at Mabel's Diner, an old roadside cafe known for its greasy fries and cheap coffee. It was supposed to be a regular stop. A few jokes, a smoke, and a refill before their next ride. But fate had other plans. Blaze, the leader, noticed the boy first, small, thin, barefoot, holding a rusted blue bicycle like it was treasure. His hair stuck to his forehead from the rain, and his lips trembled as he tried to speak. Sir, please, would you buy my bike? I'll clean it. Fix it. I promise it rides good. The bikers exchanged looks, puzzled. One of them chuckled softly. Kid, what are you doing out here in the rain? The boy bit his lip. Mommy's sick. She hasn't eaten in 2 days. I thought maybe if I sell my bike, I can buy her food. The laughter died instantly. Blaze stepped closer, crouching down so he was at eye level. What's your name, son? Eli, the boy whispered. My mommy says I shouldn't talk to strangers, but you look kind. Something in those words hit Blaze like a hammer. Kind. He hadn't been called that in years. Blaze reached for his wallet. Tell you what, Eli. How about I buy you lunch first, huh? Eli hesitated. But I have to go home soon. Mommy's waiting. The bikers brought him inside, ordered a warm meal, and watched as he devoured it in silence, like a child who hadn't seen food in days. When he was done, he looked up shyly. Thank you, sir. Can I take something for mommy too? Blaze nodded, but something inside him wouldn't let go of the thought, why was this boy out here alone, selling his bike? When Blaze offered to take him home, Eli froze for a moment but then nodded slowly. I live nearby. But it's not a good place. As they rode through the muddy backroads, the bikers followed in silence. They finally reached a broken-down trailer at the edge of the woods, rusty, leaking, and surrounded by silence. Eli ran inside. Mommy! Mommy, look! I brought food. A weak voice replied from the dark corner. Eli. Blaze stepped inside, his boots echoing on the floor. A frail woman lay on a thin mattress. Her skin pale, her eyes hollow with exhaustion. Who are you? She asked softly. Blaze removed his helmet. Just someone your boy asked for help. Tears filled her eyes as she tried to sit up. I'm sorry. We're not beggars. My husband died last year, and his brother took everything. The house, the money, even my car. I had nowhere to go. Eli clung to her arm. Mommy, I told you I'd help. Blaze clenched his fists. Who took everything? The woman swallowed hard. His name is Ralph Turner. My husband's brother. He's rich, owns half the scrapyards around here. He said my husband's debts made everything his. The bikers exchanged grim looks. Blaze's jaw tightened. Ralph Turner, he knew that name. A crooked dealer who'd stolen from good people before. That night, Blaze stood outside the trailer, the rain washing over his leather jacket. He lit a cigarette, staring into the darkness. Boss, one of the bikers asked. What are we gonna do? Blaze exhaled slowly, eyes burning. We're gonna give that boy his home back. The next morning, the Iron Hawks rolled into town, not quietly, but with engines roaring and hearts burning with purpose. Ralph Turner's scrapyard sat like a metal fortress on the edge of town, full of junked cars and men with bad tempers. But today, they weren't the scariest ones there. Blaze dismounted his Harley, his boots crunching on gravel. Ralph Turner, he shouted. The man appeared tall, smug, wearing gold rings and a cruel grin. Well, if it ain't the famous Iron Hawks. What brings you here? Need a job? Blaze threw something at his feet, a photo of Eli and his mother. You stole from them. Ralph smirked. That woman? My brother's widow? He owed me money. Everything was legally mine. Legally? Blaze's voice grew darker. You left them starving. You let a kid sell his bike to feed his mom. You call that legal? The scrapyard workers began gathering, tension rising. But Blaze didn't back down. You've got one chance, Ralph. Fix what you broke, or we fix it our way. Ralph laughed. You think your gang scares me? He didn't notice the crowd forming outside the gates, locals who'd seen what was happening. People Ralph had cheated before. One woman shouted, he took my husband's tools. Another yelled, he stole my land. In minutes, the town's anger boiled over. Ralph's smugness vanished. Blaze walked closer, his voice low. You're done here, Ralph. You'll sign back what's theirs, or every soul you cheated will drag you through hell themselves. Ralph trembled as the mob surrounded him. Under pressure, he finally signed the papers, returning the trailer land, the savings, and every stolen document. A week later, Eli and his mother stood outside a small refurbished house. It wasn't fancy, but it was theirs. Blaze knelt beside the boy, handing him something, a shiny, restored blue bicycle. Thought you might miss your old one. Eli's eyes sparkled. But I sold it. Blaze smiled. Nah, kid. You shared it with family. The Ironhawks revved their bikes one last time and disappeared into the horizon, leaving behind a boy's laughter and a mother's tears of gratitude. Sometimes, kindness doesn't wear a suit. Sometimes, it rides a motorcycle, with scars, anger, and a heart that still remembers what it means to care. And little Eli's words? They reminded everyone that even the toughest souls can become someone's hero when they choose compassion over silence.